Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing an agent deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck that can make some incredible boards, summoning out some really powerful fairy monsters. I've changed this deck a lot since the last time I profiled it and I'm really excited to show you guys all those changes. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the Agent of Creation, Venus. This card is one of the best cards in the entire deck, but you can pay 500 life points to be able to special summon out a Shine Ball from your hand or deck, which is a great effect just to get you 4 monsters on your side of the field so you can go in for all sorts of amazing plays. We then play 3 copies of Shine Ball. Shine Ball is just in the deck so we can summon him off the copy of Venus, but this card is a key combo piece in the deck that you're going to need to play 3 copies of so you can bring them out with both your copies of Venus. We then play 3 copies of the Agent of Mystery Earth. This card is basically the Stratos of the deck. Then when this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 the Agent monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, and if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can add 1 Master Hyperion from your deck to your hand instead, which is a great effect because a lot of our cards actually gain bonus effects when you have this Sanctuary in the Sky on the field. We then play 3 copies of Neptune. Neptune is a really good 3 of in this deck, and this card is so powerful. You can discard this card to be able to special summon out 1 the Agent monster from your hand or graveyard, except another copy of this card, or if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in either player's graveyard, you can special summon out a Hyperion monster instead, and neither player can treat a monster summoned with this effect until the end of the opponent's turn. And if this card is banished, then you can add 1 the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to just instantly get you a Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. We then play a single copy of Uranus. This card is really good as a 1-of in this particular deck, because this card helps you go in for all sorts of different synchro plays, because if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then once per turn, you can send 1 the Agent monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, this card's level becomes the level of that monster sent to the graveyard by this effect, which is really good to help you level manipulate this card. We then play a single copy of the Agent of Destruction, Venus. This card is a really good 1-of in the deck, and you're usually just sending it to the graveyard off of Master Flare Hyperion to copy its effect to be able to use with your Shine Balls. This card is just a really good 1-of in this particular build, but you don't really need any more than a single copy of this card. We're then playing 2 copies of Majesty Hyperion. I have bumped this card down to 2 in this particular build, and I really feel like 2 is totally fine. This card is a great combo piece in the deck that lets you special summon this card from your hand or graveyard by banishing 1 the Agent monster from your hand, field, or grave, which is usually a copy of Neptune from the grave, which is not only going to give you this card on the field, but it's also going to let you search with your copy of Neptune. This card is a really good card to be able to put on your side of the field as a level 8, so you can go in for all sorts of different synchro plays, and it's just a really good card overall in this particular deck. We then play a single copy of Master Hyperion. Master Hyperion is just a good 1-of in this particular deck, and it is a great boss monster that's super easy to put on the field, because you can special summon this card from your hand by banishing 1 the Agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard, and once per turn, you can banish a light fairy monster from your graveyard and then target 1 card on the field and destroy that target, but if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, you can activate this effect up to twice per turn, which is a great effect to be able to give you a double pop. We then play 3 copies of Diviner of the Herald. This card is an awesome combo piece in the deck to just normal summon out to your side of the field, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, increase this card's level by that monster sent to the graveyard, which is a great effect. And if this card is tributed, you can special summon out a level 2 or lower fairy monster from your hand or deck, which always comes up in this particular deck for the next 2 cards. And that's going to be a single copy of our level 9 fairy monster, which we're usually sending to the graveyard off our copy of Herald, which is just a great effect to be able to get this card in the graveyard, because this card is actually going to be able to tribute your copy of Herald to summon itself back from the graveyard, and then when Herald's tributed, we're actually going to summon out one of the cutest cards in the entire game, and that's going to be a single copy of Bhutan. Bhutan is a really good 1-of in this particular deck to summon off Herald, because it is a level 1 tuner monster. So we can summon out our copy of Master Flare Hyperion using both of these cards off of just a normal summon of our copy of Diviner. Because you normal summon Diviner, send this card to the grave, tribute the copy of Diviner to summon this card back from the grave, and then you use the effect of Diviner because it was tributed to summon out Bhutan, and then you use these two monsters to be able to go into your Master Flare Hyperion, which is a really cool combo for the deck. We then play a single copy of Arc Lord Christia. Arc Lord Christia is super easy to summon and is just always good in any fairy deck. As you believe you have exactly 4 fairy monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if summoned this way, you can target a fairy monster in the graveyard and add that target back to the hand, and neither player can special summon monsters, which is a great effect just to lock down the field, especially after we establish a board. This card is also searchable off our copy of our Parashaft monster in the extra deck, which is a great effect. And if this face of card would be sent from the field to the graveyard, you can place this card on top of the deck instead, so we can get it back, which is a great effect. We then play a single copy of Herald of the Orange Light. This card is currently at 1, but still a great hand trap in this particular build, just to stop the opponent. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is an awesome hand trap in this deck to be able to just stop the opponent from touching the deck, and it's an overall fantastic card in this build. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is just a great combo piece in this particular deck to be able to let us bring back one of our really powerful monsters from the graveyard, like one of our Hyperion monsters. We then play a single copy of the Sanctuary in the Sky. You never want to see this card in your opening hand, but you do want to search this card off of Neptune and just activate it on the field so you can get all those bonus effects, but it's still a really good card in this build. We then play 3 copies of the Sacred Waters in the Sky. The Sacred Waters in the Sky is basically a searcher for the deck that you activate the Sanctuary in the Sky directly from your deck, or add 1 monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand, which makes it pretty much the Rhoda of the deck. Then if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, and or in either player's field or graveyard, then you gain 500 life points for each Hyperion and the agent monsters you control. And if your monster that mentions the Sanctuary in the Sky would be destroyed by battle, then you can manage this card from your graveyard instead, which is a great effect just to give you a little bit of a boost and protection while also searching out your cards. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is a definite 3-up in this deck to be able to get you to all of your combo pieces in this particular build. This card is just such a good consistency card because the extra deck is very toolbox, so you can banish 6 to be able to reveal the top 6 to be able to grab the exact card that you need. But this card is really good as a 3-up in the deck. So, that's it for these spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing a single copy of Fallen Sanctuary. This card is searchable in the deck, which is why I just play a single copy of this card, but it's an extremely powerful card that when this card is activated, you can set the Sanctuary in the Sky or 1 smaller trap that mentions it directly from your deck. And this card's name becomes a Sanctuary in the Sky while in the field or in the graveyard. And you can banish 1 fairy monster from your graveyard and then target an effect monster that your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field, which is a great effect to be able to use. This card is basically an imperm while it's on your side of the field and counts as a Sanctuary in the Sky. We then play a single copy of Divine Punishment, which is a card we're usually setting to our side of the field off of this card, which is a great effect to be able to use because when a spell trap or monster effect is activated, while the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, negate the activation of do destroy that card, basically being a solemn judgment. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This card is just a great 3-up in the deck to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects and basically set this card to your side of the field to lock down entire spell and trap columns. So this card is a definite 3-up in the deck. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a single copy of Master Flare Hyperion. This card is a great card in the deck and an awesome combo piece that can actually copy the effect of your agent monsters, which is a great effect to be able to use in this deck, especially when you're copying cards like Venus that have extremely powerful swarm effects, or your Agent of Destruction Venus, which is just going to get you more shine balls on the field. But this card is just such a powerful card in the deck and a definite 1-of in the build. We're then playing a single copy of Baron de Fleur. Baron de Fleur is a great walking negate in this deck and super easy to make in this particular build. We're then playing a single copy of Borreload Savage Dragon. This card is really easy to make as a walking negate that can get absolutely massive in this deck. We're then playing a single copy of Pluto. Pluto is a good one-of in this particular build, but you only really need a single copy of Pluto. But this card is a tuner monster, which is really cool. And this card is always treated as the agent card, and once per turn, you can banish one monster from your graveyard, and turn an effect monster on the field and change it to face down defense position, and it's a quick effect if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in either player's graveyard, which is a great effect to be able to use with this card. This card is basically a quick effect Book of Moon, which is just really cool. We then play a single copy of Herald of the Arclight, because we can make this card in this particular deck, and it's a really good walking negate. We then play a single copy of Cupid Pitch. The Cupid Pitch is a really good one-up in this particular build to be able to help us synchro climb into some really powerful cards. I really like this card as a one-up in the deck because it just helps you out a lot because it is a tuner monster that can level modulate itself. We then play a single copy of number 2, the Ninja Shadow Mosquito. This card is a key combo piece in the deck that I really like to establish on the field, especially when you open up your copy of Earth and Venus. You can really easily establish an Avermax with this card on your side of the field to make it so your opponent must attack, and they must attack the Avermax, which is really cool for this particular deck. But this is the only XZ monster I'm actually playing in this build. I feel like this card is really good to make with 2 copies of Shine Ball, and it's just a really good card overall. We then play a single copy of the Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. This card is really good to put on your side of the field with the Ninja Mosquito, because the Ninja Mosquito makes it so that your opponent must attack, and then the Avermax makes it so you can only attack the Avermax, which is really neat. But Avermax can get absolutely massive, and it's just a really good boss monster to put on the field. I then play a single copy of Axis Code, because this card can get really big on the field, and can pop multiple cards on the field. It's a really cool card in this particular deck, and it gets absolutely massive when it hits the field. We then play a single copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is really easy to make in this particular deck, especially with all the Shine Balls that we play in this particular build. This card basically is a walking negate, and it's a great card. We then play a single copy of the Celestial Night Lord Parashaft. This card is a key combo piece in the deck, and a really cool card because it's actually a searcher, because it has the ability that you can discard a card and then add the Sanctuary in the Sky or one card that's specifically listed in its text from your deck to your hand. Or if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can add a fairy monster instead, which can search out your copy of Archlord Christia, which is a great effect just to instantly get you to a copy of Christia. If another face-up fairy monster that you control is sent to the graveyard, then you can banish a fairy monster from your graveyard and special summon a fairy monster from your hand, whose level is higher than that banished monster, which is a great effect just to instantly get you a monster on the field. We then play a single copy of Sprite Elf, because we do play quite a few level 2s in this particular deck, and this card is basically Monster Reborn every turn. One copy of the Protector of the Agent's Moon. Moon is a good one-of in the deck, but you only need a single copy of Moon. She has the ability that this card is link summoned. You can send the Sanctuary in the Sky or one monster that mentions it from your deck to the graveyard, which is usually going to be your copy of Your Majesty Hyperion or your copy of Neptune, which is just a really good effect to get those cards in the graveyard. And it's just a really good card in the deck. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP Masquerena is just good to be able to use to be able to basically link summon during your opponent's turn. We then play a single copy of Link Spider. Link Spider is just really good in this particular deck as a one-of, because we do play all those Shine Balls, and we do have the ability to turn a Shine Ball into this card and then summon another one from the hand, just in case we open up 2, which sometimes happens in this deck. So that's it for the build, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Agents before, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's just such a powerful deck and can establish some absolutely insane boards. This deck is just super fun. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell near soon come part notification squad, and definitely hit that bell near soon come part notification squad. And we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.